Right, so yeah, so I am here as a full-time teacher, a chemistry science teacher, who is very, very excited to share with you a little bit about the journey we do in a rural place called Tenom. So Tenom is a district in Sabah, a state in Malaysia. It is in the Borneo Islands, a beautiful place, and we have a lot of problem when it comes to access and equity to education. Therefore, I think the glimpse that I would like to share with all of you today is a little bit on how we do teacher empowerment and student empowerment through partnerships. So why partnership matters for us? Because a lot of time we do understand, we all know that the fact that having private and government partnership is the way how we could help a lot with bridging the gap between digital learning for the kids in the rural area. However, the fact that we also need to understand there's a gap between what the initiatives at the government level with us at the grassroots level. And teaching, we all could agree with, is no longer about transferring knowledge from what you have to the community. And we also believe that if we would define teaching as an ecosystem building, because as an educator closest to the community, we are serving, and it is very important for us to understand that we need to be the builder of ecosystem. Now, we started in 2018, we're just 7 years old. We started with 3 teachers from different schools because we wanted collaboration to be the key on implementing such partnerships and initiatives. And from a wide perspective of learning, we wanted also to create empowerment among the learners. Because again, if the learners are not engaged and actively involved in learning, we all know it's a failed recipe and a disaster in the classroom. Therefore, we believe that when we give more agency and empowerment to the students, as well as the teachers, therefore we will be able to actually scale the kind of learning we want to. And starting from one makerspace in Tenom Innovation Center, today we have reached around 100 teacher mentors and educators. We have active 45 student mentors who are the trainers for all these programs, and we have reached 24 makerspaces all across the rural Sabah. What changed in the teaching practice for us? So for us, it's very, very important to understand we do not have to be really good at CS to do CS initiative programs. That is one of the learning that we get, because along the way, it's not only about the students exploring the learning, but it's also us, the teachers, exploring it together and learning. And coming to such conferences like this is an opportunity for us to also understand the more technical part of the learning. And students are very, very active mentors and teachers, and therefore together we bring in the buy-ins from the community to be a more important player in the ecosystem of learning. So these public and private partnerships enable us to scale a lot. So we try to build on foundations and agencies in our community, closer to our community, to bring in these people to actually work with us, co-create with us, and fund all these initiatives that we're able to do. Now, in TIC, we believe in our model of learning where we have 3 phases of model, where we start with creating the need comes from, of course, the grassroots problems that we see, and we address it by wanting to bridge the digital gap. However, I think the most learning happening at the maturity phase, because we also learn organically how to navigate through that ecosystem and the space. How do we actually help every single community leader who are so far away from each other to actually start leading the community? And lastly, we start to now place ourselves in a very important in the education ecosystem in our place, and how we are helping even the Ministry of Education to start initiatives where we want every makerspace for every school. We have started actually the systemic impact whereby Petronas, under its foundation, Yayasan Petronas has opened up grants for student innovation centers across Malaysia. So I think that is one way we start to push for more funders to start funding initiatives. So the bottom-up evidence of what we do has now reached our state and community, and of course the next challenge is to build sustainable impacts and also keep them into that system. So our takeaway for this new model is that we all should truly believe that teachers, when empowered, they will understand, they will be able to truly play the role that they are no longer just content deliverers, they are ecosystem architects, and this public and private partnership is definitely something that will accelerate what we do in TIC. Therefore, building that ecosystem around it and building and bringing in, adding in the agencies that we could and would be interested to be part of this whole ecosystem is super important, and we are working really hard to bring as many people possible to the stage and give them the space to start creating and fading together so that we can try again. Now, so we always have this vision of thinking, if we started 7 years ago with having one makerspace, we have Technical Innovation Center, we help the entire district in one district in Sabah. What would that be if every single district in Malaysia has that? Would we still have the problem of, bridging the digital and of course the gaps that we have in education? And when we talk about SDG for quality education for everyone, how does that actually look like? Thank you.